Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Family Sedan channel. Here's a headline from the Crypto Basic. John Deaton slams crypto influencer Lark Davis for calling XRP value into question. Now, I'm sure many of you are familiar with Lark Davis. He's got 1 million followers on Twitter, about 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, and he just seems to not understand XRP, and I think it's because he's not a big fan. I don't have a ton of specific examples. I'll show you some in this video, but I don't have a ton of specific examples of stuff that he said, but just in following him on Twitter over the years, just some of the stuff that he said, I'm just like, wow, you really don't like XRP. And I also don't get the sense that you've really sufficiently researched what it is. And some people have this idea, falsely, that the only purpose of XRP is in Ripple's on-demand liquidity, which is part of RippleNet. And that could not be further from the truth. But my God, even if it were, he's calling that into question. And so I'll share with you the specifics. I love using my platform. I know I don't have as big a following as he has, but I love using my platform to push back against some nonsense like this. I just don't know how he doesn't get this. It's like, is he trying to, just by asking a question, make his followers think that there really is nothing to XRP? Because he should know by now. He's one of the most well-known influencers in the world of crypto. I think it's fair to say. With 1 million followers and almost 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, yeah, I think that's fair to say. How does he not know? It's not like this is some obscure small cap coin. This is a large cap coin that's been around for a decade. I don't understand how you could not know at this point. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. And so here is the tweet in question from Lark Davis with this is what he sent out to his 1 million followers on Twitter. He wrote, so, ... if JP Morgan is using Matic and Aave to settle USD to JPY Forex transactions, then what is the value proposition for XRP now? So what is he talking about? Well, let me just quickly set the table. Just take a minute here. Here is a headline from a website called Proactive Investors on November 3rd this year, titled JP Morgan Chase & Co. executes first DeFi trade using Polygon and Aave. It reads as follows. The largest bank in the United States has executed its first live trade on a public blockchain, signaling a major step forward for blockchain technology in the traditional finance sector. Through the trade, JP Morgan issued 100,000 tokenized Singapore dollars, which is worth 71,000 United States dollars, on the Polygon Layer 2 blockchain using the Aave decentralized finance protocol. JP Morgan then exchanged the tokenized Singapore dollars for tokenized Japanese yen, with SBI digital asset holdings on the other side of the transaction. Since the parties used virtual representations of fiat currencies, the trade was not technically a cryptocurrency transaction, yet it shows the extent to which major financial institutions are getting serious about blockchain technology. Okay, so that's the part you needed to know for the rest of this to make sense. Now, I want to point out that we don't have an insane amount of information about the nuts and bolts of how this works. But that being said, I don't think it's necessary to understand big picture what's going on here. Basically, what they're doing is utilizing blockchain technology to continue behaving the same way that the legacy financial system is behaving. So if they picked up some sort of efficiencies along the way in doing this, which they haven't sufficiently articulated because they haven't like come right out and said, here's the net benefit for why we're doing this. If they picked up some efficiencies, great. And I legitimately mean that, by the way. But understand that these transactions are in a closed, controlled setting because, and what I'm not talking about the blockchains themselves, but what I'm saying is there's a tokenized fiat currency, which means that it's backed by a fiat currency which has the same monetary policy, whether you have a representation of it on a blockchain or whether you're using a physical representation like a United States dollar or something like that. It has the same monetary policy behind it, no matter what. And also, the participants know one another. So they have this trust that the tokenized fiat currencies here, they're actually good for it, they're actually backed. They have an existing relationship there. And you see, this is the benefit of utilizing on-demand liquidity. This is crucial to understand if you want to understand why this is not some sort of threat to XRP or the XRP ledger in terms of XRP being positioned as a bridge currency. It's because a primary benefit from using XRP as a bridge currency is that you don't have to trust every single other entity that you're conducting business with. And because you understand, in order to move money around the planet now, there are Nostro Vostro accounts, so pre-funded bank accounts. By just tapping into XRP that's already for sale on open markets, you don't have to have a relationship with the 11,000 plus financial institutions, including banks around the planet. You don't have to. You can just tap into existing liquidity because it's already out there. It's already being used. XRP is out there. And so that's very different than what is being discussed here. It's not even in the same ballpark. They're trying to do different things. So this is not me ripping on what JP Morgan has done here. If they picked up some sort of efficiencies as a result of this, cool, super duper. I'm a big fan then. Great. But that is not the same thing as positioning a cryptocurrency as a liquidity source. And that is what Lark Davis clearly does not understand. But it's just when he says stuff like this, I've seen enough of this over the span of years that I get the sense that he wants it to be true that XRP has no utility. That's the sense I get from him. I'm just being honest with you after all these years and seeing the stuff he puts out there. Because I don't know how you ask this many negative sounding questions over a span of years about XRP and then you never learn despite getting real answers on Twitter. Like you're getting multiple real answers, but over years you still continue to say stuff like this. And so again, now that I've caught you up to speed on what's going on there, Lark Davis tweeted out again, so if JP Morgan is using Matic and Aave to settle USD to JPY Forex transactions, then what is the value proposition for XRP now? And let me actually start with this one from XRP community member Panos. And he responded with two points. Number one, that is not the value proposition for XRP. That's Ripple's, one of the hundreds of projects on the XRP ledger. We are not playing Monopoly. Some will use it, others not. And so pause to think about this. He either is or is saying he is, Lark Davis, is under this impression that there's one use case for XRP and it's Ripple's and that's it. Because again, he's literally saying, what's the value proposition for XRP? Well, there are, as Panos points out, hundreds of projects on top of the XRP ledger. Ripple's project using XRP is just one of them. It's the most well-known. I'll certainly see that point. That's fine. I don't care. And then point number two, XRP Ledger is a very efficient, decentralized blockchain, and XRP is used for many use cases. Okay, so that's why it's just as stupid. Like, you could ask this question. So JP Morgan did what it did. Well, what's the value proposition for Bitcoin then? That's just as stupid a question. It is. It really is. And then there was also this XRP community member Anders responded to Lark Davis and said, and again, the question is, what's the value proposition for XRP now? Anders says, because XRP is a jurisdictionless bridge asset without counterparty. It removes the need for Nostro Vostro accounts and levels the playing field for all banks, financial institutions, enterprises, and individuals. None of this is true for what JP Morgan is doing, but you cheering for JP Morgan says it all to me. Yeah, and so I firmly agree with that, which is why I hearted that comment. It's true. That's not what JP Morgan is trying to do. They're not trying to eliminate Nostro Vostro accounts. It's not even the same concept. And Lark Davis is confused by this. Very interesting stuff. XRP community member Cashter responded to Lark Davis also, and he said, this is the swap of stablecoins issued on these networks. Matic nor Aave, the cryptocurrencies, are being sourced for liquidity. This is not the same as on-demand liquidity at all, where XRP is sourced for liquidity. Exactly. So the blockchains are used, but the cryptocurrencies that are native to those blockchains are not being sourced for liquidity. Not even the same idea. Again, it's not even the same concept. They're using the blockchain technology to facilitate transactions, so they tokenized fiat currency on those blockchains. That's it. You can also tokenize fiat currency on the XRP ledger. So what? And that's been done before, by the way. Who cares? That is not the same concept. I just don't know. How does he not get this, though? Here's what Attorney John Deaton had to say on all this. XRP has been a top 10 crypto for a decade. When FinCEN settled with Ripple in 2015, XRP was number 2. Between 2017 and 2018, it battled ETH consistently for number 2. In October 2018, even after Hinman gave ETH a free pass, XRP was briefly number 2. XRP was number 3 when the SEC sued Ripple in December of 2020. The SEC's lawsuit, however, is not limited to Ripple sales. The SEC has alleged that all XRP, no matter who sells it, is always a security. This is what caused Coinbase, Kraken, and others to suspend/delist XRP. Yet despite all this, XRP remains a top 10 crypto today. The point is, one would think that a major crypto influencer like Lark Davis would have a much better understanding of XRP. Does he really think because JP Morgan is using Matic and Aave to settle USD to JPY that somehow lessens the value proposition for XRP? First, does he not know the difference between Ripple and XRP? His question would make more sense if he had asked, does JP Morgan's use of Matic and Aave negatively impact Ripple's business model? Of course, Ripple is one of the few companies involved in crypto growing and hiring. And I'll pause and note, that would have been much more reasonable. I totally agree with Attorney Deaton. If he had asked, does this negatively impact Ripple's business model? That would have been fine, frankly. And I could still talk about that. I mean, the answer effectively is no. I mean, like there's always going to be like closed systems. You're never going to have everybody on board doing one thing. But my gosh, in terms of removing a substantial amount of trust requirement and utilizing XRP, because think about this. Like I said, instead of trusting 11,000 plus different banks and financial institutions, I mean, who do you have to trust? An exchange when you're facilitating a transaction? And then if that exchange burns you, then you just don't do business with them ever again? So that means you can move money around the planet. If you just have like a trusted exchange in each country, and there's roughly 200 countries or so on the planet, isn't that way easier than, trusting 11,000 individual banks and financial institutions? And not only that, my gosh, you're talking about money flowing for unique instances, but when you're talking about the 11,000 plus financial institutions, you're talking about holding actual money in each other's banks, and establishing those relationships can take up the better part of a year. And you don't have funds to do that the world over anyway, which is why banks have to tap into the liquidity of other banks, which adds friction, more fees and stuff like that. But that's way worse, because it's like I say, you're moving from 11,000 plus relationships being required to 200, but even then that doesn't sufficiently paint how awesome this is, because you're not parking money with the exchange and the exchange isn't parking money with you. It's just that there's liquidity there. It's infinitely better. And if you get burnt, fine, then you just don't trust them anymore. But if you trust the code of the XRP ledger, and you should, it's just, it's open source software. Like, you can look at the code yourself. You can see that there is no concern there. So no, this isn't impacting in some sort of negative way Ripple's business model. No, they're not even trying to do the same thing. And then Attorney Deaton says, does he know the overall size of the Forex market? Does he know that Ripple is only one company utilizing the XRP ledger? It is very surprising to me that XRP remains one of the most misunderstood cryptos out there, even though it has been around and near the top for a decade. Well, bravo, Attorney Deaton, because you're hitting the nail on the head. I'll tell you that. And no, and I actually shared this with Attorney Deaton here, but Lark Davis doesn't know the difference between Ripple and XRP, which is one of the things that Attorney Deaton asked in his thread here. Either that, or he's pretending like he doesn't, but I think he actually doesn't. And why do I say that? If you look at this video clip from October 7th, Lark Davis tweeted out, "Can 10,000 XRP make you rich?" And I'm not interested in talking about the top. I made a video where I kind of broke this down, but the reason I wanted to highlight this is because he said something completely ridiculous. He said that Ripple is the parent company of XRP. Holy freaking hell. And so I responded with the following. You just said in this clip that Ripple is the parent company of XRP. How can any decentralized cryptocurrency have a parent company? Even if such a thing were possible, how could Ripple be the parent company of XRP when XRP was created before Ripple? And also note that XRP is an asset. Ripple owns lots of assets, such as desks in their offices. Is Ripple the parent company of the desks that they own? Or do you have a misunderstanding of what a parent company is? Oh my God. XRP is not a company. It's like you can't be a parent company of it. It's okay. You guys get it. So this is what we're working with here. This is why we cannot have nice things. So I'm glad I have my platform. I may not be able to reach as many people as Lark Davis, but you know what? I still got something. I'm going to use my platform to push back against this utter garbage. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Family Sedan.